Ding ding. Welcome to the Pie Pack Podcast. Please be quiet and courteous and silence your cell phones now. Did I fool you? Did you think this was the intro? Nah, you didn't. You're a smart cookie. You've been eating that butter. It's going to your brain. It's fattening it up and making you crazy with intelligence. No, we just have a little announcement off the top of the morning to you. We want to put it in now so you can hear about it before the thing happens. This is a really convoluted way of saying stuff, but I'm going to keep going. Actually, I'm not. Josh, what do we got cooking in the oven for the rock?
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. This is Josh and John with the Power Pack Podcast. And quick announcement. So, as you guys probably know, John and I are a couple of goofballs, and we like doing our, we have a project, JJ Fresh, but we also have some musical projects that we do on our own. And just a quick announcement that, I'll go first. So, we're both releasing a couple of our own solo projects this weekend, the 4th of July weekend. And real quick, mine comes out July 2nd. It's a lo-fi instrumental album. It's 10 tracks. It's got some stuff to zone out and do college work, do homework, do drive to your job, eat a bowl of cereal, shoot a crossbow, ride a unicycle. Anything that you just want to, relax and enjoy some nice instrumental music. That's my album. It's called Gratitude. It's going to be out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. Just search for Josh Karsh, hit that follow button, check out the album, and let me know what you think. And John, what about yours?
Yeah, it's just a little 3-song instrumental thing like I always do. It's called Sewer Party. And just search Mr. Mutiny, Sewer Party. It'll be on everything, everywhere. Listen to it if you want. If not, listen to Josh's, because his music, oh man. Wow, it makes me want to put on a robe and smoke a cigar and punch a kangaroo's baby in the pouch and then take its place and have the kangaroo ride me off into the sunset. But I wanted to ask Josh, before we close this announcement, if you were to name one activity your album would go with, what would it be?
I think it'd go well with, I would say maybe just walking on the beach or riding your bicycle along the ocean, just beachy and just vibes.
Yeah, beachy vibes.
What about yours? Describe your one activity that someone could listen to your album, EP.
Oh, maybe sobering up after a Slipknot concert. Maybe if you're bowling, but you bet your life savings on the game and everything depends on it. I think those would be some good venues.
That's
for
perfect.
This audio. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode, but make sure you put on your gloves and you get your hands in that butter sauce and you just rub it all over your pets, because you don't want to be the only one sticky in the butter. You gotta spread the love.
Ooh.
Spread it. Yeah.
Welcome to the Power Packed Podcast. Please be quiet and courteous and silence your cell phones now. Be sure to grab some snacks and concessions, located in the lobby. And now our feature presentation. Prepare for butter.
All the time, wondering if maybe I'm losing my mind, stepping out to the rising enemy, or maybe I'm going out to sea, maybe you should know by now. When I get back, everything will be alright. Seems like I'm out to sea every single night. I hope this old boat will stay afloat as we go.
I hope this old boat will stay afloat as we go.
Don't mind, maybe you sink or swim. Oh, I don't mind, maybe you sink or swim. Oh, I don't mind, maybe you sink or swim. Oh, I don't mind.
Have you ever put put a toupee, a pig wig, a toupee, put a wig on a pig with the body of a twig that likes to eat fig Newtons with Wayne Newton, but not Vladimir Putin because he's pooping all over in Russia when it's cold and it's getting rock hard, not like the mold because that's squishy on the trees in the northwest, which is the best, but it's arguable because some people like the yeast in the east. They like that bread pudding coming down that Mississippi River. They like to quiver as they get the bow, and they like to pull it out. They like to hit Hitler, ooh, right in the face, and now he's dead. He didn't die in World War II, he died in Mississippi. Yeah. We are the Power Pack podcast featuring 2 dudes and 1 dead Hitler on the Mississippi River.
Oh, yes. Our podcast is like, you know what our podcast is like? Or no, sorry, not our podcast. Our friendship is like history. It's like the History Channel. It's like a history book. You know, it's got 2 dudes that have an epic friendship that have created history by creating this podcast, by just becoming YouTube. You know, we're basically YouTube celebrities now. We've got 1.4K subbies on the YouTubes now. So I figured real quick, by the way, my name's Josh, and I am one of the people who makes this podcast, and the other guy on this podcast, his name is John. John is is creative genius, master lyricist, guitar extraordinaire, and frozen butter champion of the St. Louis Fair in 2017 and 18. Yeah. So yeah, but you know what? There's just been a lot of stuff going on lately with JJ Fresh, a lot of hype. You know, we've getting more subs on YouTube. We're almost at 100 episodes. Well, we're almost at 80. This is episode 77. And last episode, I talked to you guys about, you know, who are we? What are we? You know, who are we? You know, is you know, that's exactly the question. You know, and so I wanted to real quick. We're each going to just give you our little story of who we are, and then we're going to just explain how we became the comedy duo JJ Fresh, and just give you a little origin story real quick. So kick your feet up, grab some popcorn, and we're just going to crack open this chapter book. So, you know, okay. So, I guess a little bit about myself. My name is Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, John. So I was born in 1968. This is the year I was born. Or is it 86? I can't remember. Somewhere in between there. But anyways, yeah, I grew up in Idaho. I used to, as a kid, I really enjoyed, we had a big potato farm. It was like really cool. It was cool growing up on the potato farm. And I had give or take about 7 or 8 siblings there. And anyways, it was fun. You know, growing up, we had a farm, and the potatoes we grew were very good. They were good potatoes. Each one was at least a couple pounds per potato. So they're just like good potatoes. I had a lot of fun when I was younger, and how I kind of got into creativity is I would make a little stage of potato people. I would put I would draw little faces on them and pretend like they were my friends. And I would do these like performances, you know. I would pretend like I was acting out like a movie, like Back to the Future or Jurassic Park or something. And that's how I got my start of wanting to be an entertainer, to be like an actor, voice actor, person like that. So after I got enough money from the potato farm, I decided to enroll in college, and I got a degree in it was fine arts. And after I got that, I learned a little bit about the industry. So I thought it would be a good idea to move to Los Angeles. You know, that's just what everybody does. So I moved there when I was about, I think I was like 28, moved there. And I just want to become an actor. So I started just getting different gigs. And I was in a Colgate commercial. It was Colgate or it was Crest. I really can't tell the difference between the two. But it was one of those. And it's just like, things were, it was going pretty well. But I needed more in my career. So I was working at my job at TGI Fridays, and I was just busting tables. And there was a customer who always came in. He'd always order the onion ring stacked thing, and chocolate milk, and a bowl of gravy. And that was just like what he always get. And this is actually how I met John. And then I'll let him tell his story in a second. But I noticed he had, he'd always wear sunglasses indoors, and he always had a Bluetooth in, and he had like a computer he was on. And I was like, hey, you must be famous, because he's so busy. And he's like, yeah, I'm an actor too. So anyways, that's how I met John. But I'll let you tell your story. That's kind of like a little introduction of who I am.
Yeah, well, I'll start from the beginning. I was born in Arizona, and it's kind of funny. I was raised in a 7-Eleven cooler. It's kind of like a funny thing because it was so hot outside, and my parents owned a 7-Eleven in our town. And they didn't want to hire a sitter, too expensive. They're making that 7-Eleven money, so they put me in the milk cooler, like on the shelf. And it was funny because they knew to check on me when the last jug of milk was taken, and then the little baby kind of presented itself behind the glass, and they knew, oh, let's go see if John needs anything. So they would check on me and stuff. And if I was fine, I wasn't crying, they'd put me in the back of the cooler and put more milk there, and then they would reset the cycle. And that went on until I outgrew the cooler. And when I was, I don't know, probably 4 or 5, old enough to carry things, I was dexterous, I guess, able to put chips on a shelf, able to organize the magazines. I started working. I didn't get paid. They always said, we put a roof over your head and buy you things, so you don't get paid. So I always just have this work ethic of just being grateful for what I have. So I never ever have accepted payment for doing work ever. It's always just given to me because they're like, wow, he works so hard. And that work ethic came from 7-Eleven, being a cooler baby. And so, yeah, after when I was like 13, still in Arizona, we lived there the whole time. I met this guy at school, and he was really into cars and stuff. And I think his name was Nathan something. And so I went to his house like every weekend because it was so much fun. And his dad would always be working on this hot rod, this classic car. And so he kind of taught me and Nathan how, to rebuild an engine, how to work on cars and put the brake things in and the muffler exhauster. And he's called me a natural. He's like, you're a natural at this. So I started to get some confidence. And I think my ability to work through complex problems like, rebuilding an engine and stuff comes from back at the store at 7-Eleven when I would stock the cereal boxes. There's those just complicated high brain power puzzles on the back of the boxes. Like you have to find where Fred Flintstone is through the forest and the trees. And it's kind of like a maze. And there's a lot of dead ends. And if you use a pen, you're risking messing up the maze. So a lot of people just traced out the path of the maze with their finger in case they messed up. They can backtrack. No, I always used a permanent marker because that's how confident I was in my abilities. There's a Cheerio box with illusions. I was able to figure out how, to focus my eyes to make the illusions work. There was another box that really changed just the way my brain worked and how I could just figure out complex solutions to problems. I can't remember the box right. It could have been Golden Grams. I'm not sure, but we'll get back to that. So my background in that helped with my ability to fix hot rods when I was 13. And so when I was 16, I dropped out of school because I was way too smart for it. I was like, this is no way am I doing this. So I got my mechanic's license. So I started working on cars, and then I met my boss. He was aspiring to be an actor. He's like, I hate my job. I'm tired of fixing cars. They always break. I want my big break. Speaking of breaks. And I said, that was funny. That was clever. You're a creative guy. You should be an actor. He's like, yeah, but I'm scared to do it by myself. And I said, well, here, let me run some lines through you. Or let me help you run some lines through me. That's what I meant to say. And so, yeah, during, while we're fixing cars and stuff, while we're putting on the lug bolts and tightening the hemp screws, he would just read Shakespeare to me, and I would sing Wayne Newton lyrics back to him, just to throw him off. Because part of acting is, if you stick to the script, is it really acting or are you just reading? So he would maybe do a phrase from Hamlet, and I would bust out my old script book. I used to keep scripts, print them off the computer, because we didn't have a TV. So I just, for the movie, I've never seen a movie until I was 18. So I would just read the movie scripts. My friends would tell me about these movies. Have you seen Blade 2? Be like, no, let me go print off the script. So I would pull out those old scripts, and I would just mix and match them and just kind of keep him on his toes and see how he responded. He thought that exercise was so helpful. He actually got an acting gig. He got an agent and everything. He went to Los Angeles, and he called me up when I was like 19, 20. This is years later, and he said, dude, you helped me out so much, but I also think you have the chops to become the next Nicolas Cage or something. I said, dude, yeah, I know. My confidence, plus my acting skills, plus my complex problem solving with puzzles from cereal boxes at 7-Eleven have prepared me for the journey. I'm on my way, but I don't have any money because I don't get paid. Can you give me a plane ticket? And he said, yeah, sure, I can front you that. So I flew down there, and then the first thing he did was, he's like, dude, check these out. And he put some Oakleys on me. He's like, this is a gift from the casting director. And I said, well, these are nice. He said, check this out. They gave me an extra Bluetooth. I already have one, but you pop that in. I said, oh, cool. And then he gave me a laptop, and he said, this is, here, I want you to have this so you can have your scripts digitally, because I know you don't have a computer or a TV. Now you can be paperless with all your scripts and stuff. And so I was just working on running through lines, getting prepped for my first audition, which it had. It was also at a toothpaste commercial. I can't remember if it was Crest or Colgate, and then I ran into Josh while I was on my computer. He just saw me with my glasses and was like, wow, you look confident, and just you look like a guy who can rebuild an engine. And I said, yeah, you look like a cool guy who loves potatoes. And we've been friends ever since. So
yeah. I still get chills when you talk about your life story, and just kind of I totally forgot about just how you learned how to read from reading the different stock in 7-Eleven, and just your IQ of 247, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah.
The streets taught me. So
yeah, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, and yeah, it's crazy because I remember like really vividly when after John was like, hey, I've got a computer. What's your email? I'll send you an email to my acting where we get together, acting crew, and we're just gonna be doing some acting lessons, like acting drills. And I was like, okay, cool. I really want to be an actor. So, anyways, I remember when we got there the first time, I said, hey, I know. I noticed that you said you were in a toothpaste commercial as well, because I'd been in one. That was like my bragging point. And he's like, yeah, I've been in a couple, and I was really impressed by that. I was like, whoa. He's like, yeah, Colgate, Crest, whatever the other one is, Pepsodent or something. I don't know. Hey, he's like, yeah, Aquafresh, yeah. So he's like, yeah, sorry. So we had those, and I was like, man, it's like, man, there's one thing for sure is like we're fresh, we've done toothpaste commercials, and I think that's pretty fresh. And I was like, hey, it's pretty cool that both our names start with J. It'd be like, we should make a comedy duo called JJ Fresh. And I still remember this day. He put his, he looked down his nose in his sunglasses so he could see his eyes. He looked at me. He's like, yeah. That's all he said. And I remember just thinking about it. It was like, that was the moment I knew JJ Fresh was going to be a thing. So it's pretty cool. Do you remember the first time we like acted together in a project?
Well, I want to go back to that moment when we were talking about, when you asked, do you want to become like a comedy duo? And I just remember you had this puka shell necklace on, and I couldn't stop thinking, wow, this guy's either the funniest guy alive rocking that puka shell necklace, or he's just the biggest tool in the world. And when you told me you want to be a comedy duo, I knew you were wearing that puka shell necklace as a joke, and I was sold. I was in.
Yep. You guessed 100%. Right. You guessed right, because I found that puka shell necklace, and I laughed to myself. I was like, only people who listen to 311 wear these. So I bought it for like $5 or whatever at that little beach shop. And then I was like, I'm going to wear this during my shifts at TGI Fridays, which would be even funnier. And nobody ever said anything because multiple of the shift supervisors wore them as well, but not in a joking way. And they're like, yeah, dude, I scored some super cheap 311 tickets. Me and the bros, we're going to go buy some Twisted Teas and just go jump around for about an hour and a half. You thinking of come with? I never went to the 311 concert, but I bailed out on the 311 concert to go do the first gig that John and I got in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and that was, wow, that's so long ago. I feel like that was 20 years ago, our first gig.
At least.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the gig we did with Chris Pratt when we were, I think I was a Velociraptor and you were a Brontosaurus? Because this is after the puppets, and this is after Jurassic World. This is a Jurassic Earth.
Jurassic
Earth.
Earth.
Able to get Jurassic Earth. They were still able to get Chris Pratt, but because a lot of people didn't like Jurassic World because it just didn't feel like Jurassic Park. They just had this movie go straight to theaters, and he didn't get the budget like he did before. So he casted us as dinosaurs. And I mean, it's Chris Pratt, so we weren't the top dogs at this one. Normally we are.
We usually, yeah.
But yeah, so I was most of the time just getting Chris Pratt some ice water. I was still in my dinosaur costume, couldn't take it off because you never know when they need a raptor in the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
But it was just. It was fun. It was fun being dressed as a Velociraptor, giving ice water to Chris Pratt while he masterfully delivers each line with precise clarity, and it's like a wave after it crests, and the crash and the foam and that puff of mist, not the full force of the wave. I'm talking about that puff of mist before you're hit by the wave. It's just that quick, brief moment of refreshment before the storm. You're hit with just his energy.
Yeah,
that's I can't. Working with Chris Pratt was probably the best, I think, moment in my career. Besides the comedy duo with you, of course. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's just an amazing. He's amazing.
He's great.
He invited us over. Do you remember that picnic we went to?
Yeah,
with Chris Pratt.
Remember, he was a nice enough guy, but remember how he was like, "Oh, we're gonna wear our costumes from Jurassic Park." So then you and I showed up, and because yours was Velociraptor, so you stood up, but mine was the Brontosaurus, the one with the spiky back. So the entire movie, I was crawling on my hands and knees like a baby. And I remember we showed up, and everybody was laughing because we showed up in the dinosaur outfits.
And Chris Pratt was in picnic outfit. He had the white shorts on with the salmon button down.
Yeah.
And he had a tennis racket prop. We just were laughing like, oh, Chris, you're a joker.
He is just a silly guy. Yeah. I remember I got that was a weird role. I remember that too, where it's like they paid us and we were actors, but they kept making us fetch ice water for him. And I remember it was really hard for me to get the ice water because I was crawling around, so I kept spilling it.
So I remember, didn't one of the cameramen, they put like a little tray on your back?
Yeah.
He would just walk the waters around. And there was a game that people, the cameramen would, and sound guys, the boom mics, they'd have bets. They'd be like, let's see if he spills. I bet he's going to spill 2 waters. $50 he spills 3.
Yeah.
And I have never told you this, but I made about $400 through that.
Wow.
That shoot. Because he spilled a lot of water.
Is that how you got that Justin Timberlake leather jacket? Because that was a really nice... I was wondering, because they didn't pay us very much, so I was wondering how you had such a nice jacket, and that makes sense now.
Yeah, well, I actually got that from JT himself, because he was having a garage sale. Chris told me about it, because him and JT are pretty tight. So I was like, no way, I never met JT. And so he introduced me, and at his garage sale, he had this old leather jacket he used in one of his music videos. And he had a price for $4,000. I mean, garage sales in Beverly Hills, I mean, they're not like a garage sale in Arizona. You're not going to get a potted plant for 28 cents. You're going to pay top dollar for the goods here. So he actually gave me a deal. He said $400. And I said, dude, you have no idea how, like, this is destiny, because I just won $400 when I was filming Jurassic Earth with my buddy Josh as a Stegosaurus with a tray of ice water on his back. Dude, he spilled like 8 of those. And I bet like $25 a pop. And boom, boom, boom. I got $400. And you're probably impressed with the math on that. That was pretty slick, pretty quick. And we did the transaction, and he started singing and moonwalking back inside. And I did the same into the car. And Chris Pratt drove me home with a leather jacket. That
was cool, man. I remember you talking about the meeting JT. I never heard that story, but I remember you saying JT was a pretty cool guy. I remember I had something going on. I think I had like other gigs, but usually you and Chris were usually going to quite a few of those cool like celebrity parties, and I just remember crawling onto the set and hearing about people talking about the going to these things, and it's cool. Like, it's fine that I didn't get invited. Like, I'm not mad about it, I guess. Like, I do feel I feel a little unincluded, but I wasn't going to bring this up, this podcast. I really was trying hard not to bring, because you're talking about the story, and I felt very just unappreciated, unincluded, it's not a big deal. We don't have to talk about it,
Well, you got to meet Jeff Goldblum, because weren't you
Goldblum,
going house to house trying to get people to sign some petition about, I don't know, getting more vending machines in the break room at the studio or something?
At Paramount, yeah.
Like, you were going to people who weren't even actors. You were going to like anywhere. You'd go to a Walmart, get signatures. You'd go to Beverly Hills, get signatures. And didn't you run into Jeff Goldblum and get a signature for a vending machine at the break room at Studio A?
I did, yeah. And it was cool because I had him, I told him it was 2 signatures, but one of them was for the petition, and then the other one was just like my own thing, and I framed it, and I still have the picture. I'm looking at it right now, Goldblum, and he's like, hey, Josh, what a cool cat, Jeff. So that's pretty cool.
Did he sign that on the petition, or did he sign it as a personal one to you?
He signed it on both because he's just kind of an eccentric guy, which is funny. And I told him like, oh, just need a signature. And then he wrote over like the other 10, like he wrote that thing over the other signatures. It's fine. It's just Jeff being Jeff,
Oh, Jeff being Jeff. Yeah, I was kind of jealous you met Jeff. So maybe we could plan a double date with.
It's true.
I'll get JT, you get Jeff, and we'll kind of do that thing where I talk more with Jeff and you talk more with JT.
Oh yeah, become friends.
Maybe we swap friends.
Yeah,
because I got everything I need out of JT. I got the leather jacket for a discount, so I'm done with him.
And I got the signature. So
yeah, I need a signature. Maybe I'll have him write his name and phone number on a napkin, and then I could frame that.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I like that idea too. It's just crazy, reflecting on just all we've accomplished as just living in Los Angeles and going from you were in Arizona, I was in Idaho, 7-Eleven, potatoes, all of it. Just in the end though, that's just how we became more seasoned, I guess, in the industry, how we learned more, made the connections, and then that's how we made this podcast. We decided to tell our story. That's what we did today.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, we want to hear your story. How did you come about to find and listen to this podcast? Were you scuba diving under a mountain and you had your earbuds on and your hands were wet and you were trying to scroll to the next Nickelback song, but your finger slipped and it went to podcast, and then you were trying to navigate through there and you wanted to type in like power swimming because your flipper fell off and you were trying to figure out how can I get to the surface faster. Instead you typed in power packed and you were thinking it's going to be a Thanksgiving special about cooking turkey. But instead, you found the Power Pack podcast, which has nothing to do with turkey or stuffing turkeys. And then you really you became a fan, our number 11th fan.
Number 11.
Yeah. Isn't there a band called Finger 11 or a song or something?
There is, yeah. Finger 11.
Finger 11.
They have one song, and it's just called Finger 11. By Finger 11. All right, everybody, this is the Finger 11 tour. We're going to play our one song, Finger 11. We are Finger 11. The song's called Finger 11.
Yeah, I can count to 11.
Yeah, the song is just them counting to 11. And then when they try to figure out what 12 is, they get really flustered, frustrated, and then they're like, yeah. And then they just repeat it for 3 minutes.
And then 8 years later, they came out with their second song called Gloves Don't Fit.
They don't fit right. Oh, maybe they have the main person in it. He was born with the sixth finger on his right hand.
It's like the sixth sense. Maybe the finger was a ghost the whole time.
Just like this podcast. Maybe this whole thing was just a dream.
Maybe next week when you go to click, I'm going to listen to the Power Pack podcast, you end up being on episode 1 because we actually just started. And maybe you were in a timeline in the future and we haven't got to where you were listening to yet. And so somehow your computer is also a time machine. What if that would... Okay, there's a movie idea. Okay, you have Google, right? And you can type in things like, I don't know. What's something you can type in? How about Tremors, like the movie?
Mm.
Okay, I'm typing in Tremors in Google. And it comes up with the IMDb page. And I click on it. It says 1990. I click on that. I'm instantly on the release date of Tremors in 1990. It's opening day in theaters. Time browser is what we'll call the movie.
Ooh. And then,
but the catch, I'm stuck in this. I'm stuck in this time loop until I watch the movie, and then I can get out of it.
That is something that we should self-produce, yeah, and just make it so, yeah, you're stuck in this loop and it's like 1990, then you finally watch it and then you're transported back. So it could be for all these movies and you're like, whoa, I can't believe that happened. You're like, and then you forget about it and you click on a different movie and now it's like, you're watching Wizard of Oz and it's 1930 or whatever and you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
that sounds fun. Time browser coming to theaters near you.
Cool.
Well,
yeah. Tell us y'all's story, homies.
Yeah, and this episode was brought to you by fake news.
And next week we're going to leave a cliffhanger. I'm going to tell you about Glovey. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you about Glovey next week.
Ooh, can't wait. I forgot. I saw that and I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, that way we have a topic. We'll hit the ground spinning around like little hamsters on a wheel.
Thank you for tuning into our regularly scheduled program. Contact Josh and Jonathan at powerpackedpodcast@gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/powerpacked. See you next time, you dirty little rat babies.